Definitely a cold one in the garden last night, and it's 9:30 now in the morning, and it's -5 degrees. I even had to break the ice in the wildlife pond. Just look at my poor euphorbia in this cold weather. All of the leaves have just drooped right over, but hopefully as the weather warms up later on, it'll spring back into life. Let's take a look around the garden just to see how the plants are doing. As you can see, everything is looking really cold at the moment. But I'm not too worried. It's just a little bit of a cold snap, and I'm sure everything will return to normal as soon as the temperatures do. The Trachycarpus Virginiae, I've got a few of these in the garden, and all of them are looking really good. They don't take any protection, and they come through even the harshest of winters that we get here in South Wales. And they've been through 4 winters now without any problems. And here's another one here. This one is a little bit bigger. And this one is also looking good. So I'm not too worried about these. Even the one that I bought from B&M, that one was struggling a little bit and it was looking quite yellow, but since I've been feeding it throughout last summer, it has definitely got a much better green colour, and the trunk is getting a lot thicker on it now too. I'm more than happy with the progress on this one. This is the Washingtonia that I put in the garden. This one's only been planted since this summer, and it'll be the first winter that it's been in the ground. I know that these don't like the cold temperatures, but there's definitely some new growth coming on this, and it seems to be doing okay. The ground is completely frozen solid at the moment, and I'm so glad that I put down that mulch when I did. Hopefully it'll do the job of insulating the plants throughout these colder months. We don't usually have temperatures this cold in South Wales as we're quite near the coast. But this year we definitely are seeing these temperatures. Just look at this phormium. It's amazing really how they all manage to spring back after the cold weather, as all the leaves just shrivel up. But again, I'm sure that by this afternoon when the weather warms up over freezing, it should look a lot better. And I'm so glad that I protected this tree fern when I did. I think I just made it before the freezing temperatures arrived. I do hope that all the plants inside the greenhouse will be okay, as this morning I went inside and it was -2 degrees. There's no heating inside the greenhouse, and you can see that all the glass is completely frozen this morning. Hopefully everything will be okay, fingers crossed. One of my favourite plants in the winter garden is the Nandina. This never seems to be touched by any of the cold weather, and it always looks fantastic in the garden. It doesn't matter if it's the middle of winter or the middle of summer, it always looks superb. It's a few days later now, and as you can see, the plants have sprung back to life. The phormium has opened up beautifully, just like it's supposed to be. It's 7 degrees at the moment. And just look at the John Phillips. Glad to say but that's all back to normal. It's one of my favourite plants in the garden, this one, and it always proves to be really hardy here in my garden. Been here now about 2 years, and it really has put on lots of growth since it's been in the garden, and it is a beautiful sight. I love it here, right in the centre of the bed. I think the tetrapanax in the garden has really struggled now with the colder temperatures, and I think this now is starting to die back. That behind with the yoghurt pots on top, that's my bananas, which are safely all wrapped up for winter, and the yoghurt pots are put on top just to protect them from the rainfall. Just look at that poor leaf there. But that's alright, because I know that they will all spring back next year. Another plant that's untouched by this cold weather is my Euphorbia wolfenii. Such a fantastic plant, this, and it just takes anything that our winters can throw at it and just shakes it off with no problems at all. The cordyline indivisa has grown huge in the garden since I put it in the ground, and that's got to be at least 7 foot tall now, I'd say. And it's grown really wide too. And you can tell they're indivisa by the orange markings on the leaves. And apparently these never split into two, they always remain as one trunk. And so far so good. It's been alright in my garden. This is the first winter for this one. I just can't believe the size that's gone on it. You can't really see how big it is, but it really is a wonderful sight in the garden. Another plant that's grown really huge this year is the cordyline australis, and that now has split into two and is growing into 2 different parts. So now it'll have 2 growing points. It's the first year that it flowered, and apparently once it flowers, the trunk then will start to split and it just increases in size. And it's a very healthy plant too. There's a few little brown markings on it, but that's to be expected really. And this is right in the centre of my garden. And it really is a beautiful sight, a proper statement plant. We've been so lucky really in Wales, as the lowest we've had it now is -5, and some parts of the UK, especially up in Scotland, I've been looking at -18.5, and I just couldn't imagine that in the garden. It must be so much hard work to keep a garden going in those temperatures. I've still kept some of the miscanthus grasses for winter interest in the garden. The arundodonnax I have cut back as that bent right over, but I'll keep these ones for a while longer. And all the bamboos in the garden are doing okay. The colder temperatures don't bother the bamboos at all. We normally do cover the tiki bar, but this year we haven't got around to it, so we'll probably leave it uncovered now for the rest of the year. And this is where Vim likes to sit anyway. He loves being perched up there looking at all the garden, and he's such a good boy. He's 13 now. Such a good boy. And all the plants in the Belfast sink are still doing well. Lovely to see some colour on a winter's day. Another plant that has done extremely well so far is the Yucca rostrata. I've got this one in a terracotta pot, and this has definitely doubled in size. It was a new addition to the garden this year, and it's done so well. And I love having a look at this when I come out into the garden. I haven't seen any visitors yet to the bird table, but the food has definitely moved and it has gone down a little bit. But there's no sign of life, and I've been checking throughout the last few days, but I haven't seen anything land on it yet. Be patient. Tony has been out this morning and just given the outside of the greenhouse a little clean over, as it does tend to get quite dirty really underneath the trees. But that's done now for another week. And the new hellebores that I planted a few weeks ago by the bananas, they aren't showing any sign of flowering just yet. But just to the other side, where the old plant was, that is full of flowers. And I've trimmed back a lot of the leaves now, and I'm just waiting for the flowers to open. I do love hellebores in the winter garden. I am in deep thought of what to do with this trellis in the spring. I have got a small jasmine growing there at the moment, but I was thinking of moving this one down near the greenhouse and maybe planting a clematis on here. I think the clematis would do really well, as they do like to have their roots quite cool, and this would be ideal as the roots would be tucked in there behind all the other plants, and then it could grow all the way up this trellis. Maybe a fast growing clematis like a clematis montana would look quite nice up here with lots of flowers. That would really brighten up the area. Let me know what you think. And a few weeks ago I planted some creeping jenny, and that has really taken well and doesn't seem to be bothered at all about the cold temperatures. Inside the greenhouse seems to be doing okay. Just pop inside and have a little look. But there doesn't seem to be any problems in here. The only thing that I think I have lost, but that's to be expected, is the dwarf Cavendish banana. I took all the leaves off that, but at -2 the other day, I think that's just a little bit too cold for it now. These Ioniums are doing okay. Drooped a little bit because of the cold weather. But everything else is really just what I'd expect to see. The cannas, I just keeping them completely dry, and they're on the bottom shelf. So I'm just going to leave them now until they start sprouting in spring, and then I'll decide where I want to put them in the garden. Maybe this year I'll dot them around the other plants, or I might even put 1 or 2 of them into pots. We'll decide when the weather warms up. The papyrus is still doing okay in the corner. No problems there. Obviously it's not really growing now at this time of year, but it doesn't seem to have died back. And to the left hand side as you walk in, that's all my dahlias in their pots. There's 4 pots of dahlias there. A mangavi on the top, which I've just brought out of the winter weather. And I think that's some kind of yucca. I normally leave that out in the winter, but this year, as I've got a greenhouse, I thought, well, it'd probably do a lot better inside. And it does look a lot healthier for it too, being brought into the shelter. I put these in the greenhouse for some winter protection, and I thought that these were gonna die back throughout the winter, but they must be evergreen. And since I've put it into the greenhouse, I've even had a flower, which isn't really to be expected in January. And these 2 little Ioniums here are looking full of health, and they are doing really well. The only thing with the January weather is 1 minute is beautiful winter sunshine, and the next minute it's raining. But it's still nice in between the showers, just to have a little walk through the garden and just enjoy a little bit of the green space. And I do love spending my time in the garden, no matter what the weather. And the one thing that I like about it is that it's always changing from season to season. I do enjoy having lots of evergreens in the garden, and it's these evergreen plants that enable me to have lots of winter interest, so I'm never looking at an empty garden in the winter, and there's always something to look at when I come outside, because I do like to enjoy my garden for 12 months of the year, not just the summer months. Just a small amount of frost damage on the Fatsia. This is the Fatsia japonica, but again I'm not really too worried about that. They're pretty hardy, these plants, and in the spring that'll just bounce back. And this is the beautiful sight that I get to see from my back door. Thank you so much for joining me in the garden today on this January cold day, and I'll see you all soon, and please subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. See you all soon. Bye for now.